We can't let Shepard escape!
You know what they say about revenge. You better be ready to dig 2 graves. Go ahead, end it. It won't change anything. I knew you couldn't do it. Oh, you're a good warrior. But you could never take that extra step to do what was absolutely necessary.
Hello everyone, Shooty here again, part 3 of the Modern Warfare 2 Compare and Contrast series. So, in the previous 2 episodes, it was a focus on the villains, although episode 2 was meant to also be a bigger focus on the level design of No Russian. I also decided to wrap up just some thoughts and ideas in that about Makarov, because I don't feel like Makarov is as prevalent in Modern Warfare 2 as Shepard when you take everything else into consideration, but Makarov is important to Modern Warfare 2, so I felt giving him a separate discussion was important. So the main focus of this video will be the protagonist, or the heroes, of Modern Warfare 2. And there's a lot. At least in the reboot version of the game. The original version, there's a few heroes, but there's also very clearly some that are meant to stand out more than others. However, if we contrast that to the reboot, there's a larger cast to dig into, so this will probably be a longer video than I intended it to be, but we'll see where we are.
You disgrace the army.
Show our friends here how the Rangers take down a target.
We need to get Laswell back.
Let's move.
So... Place?
This belongs to you, sir.
So, we have a large cast of characters in both games. I shouldn't say large. It's actually just the right amount in Modern Warfare 2 2009, but MW2 2022 is a little bit of different. For now, though, we're going to focus on our original Modern Warfare 2 game. So, the two most important ones are obviously Captain Price and Soap. Then the supporting cast being Ghost, and then a side cast of characters which are Sergeant Foley, Corporal Dunn, Alan, Private Allen, kind of, kind of a character. Ramirez and obviously Roach. Roach and Ramirez we're going to exclude from this discussion because they are not voiced protagonists, and this is because it's meant to allow the player to assume their role and allow the player to, in a way, insert themselves into the story in a way that is not intrusive to the overall plot. It's meant to allow you, the player, to experience the game, but it's not like Mass Effect, for instance, where you can make your own version of Shepard, Commander Shepard, but you can't, and you can choose your dialogue options, and this allows you to express yourself in the story. In Modern Warfare 2's instance, it's more like a Morgan Freeman. Not Morgan Freeman. What the hell is wrong with me? Dr. Freeman from Half-Life. It's like a Freeman esque character where they don't talk, so you're kind of meant to like assume that you're the character in a way. So Private Allen ironically escapes this fate only because of a few voiced lines during the cutscene where Shepard is giving Private Allen his mission, his infiltration mission. So there's a little bit there, but there's not a lot, because Allen, he gets 3 levels and then he's nixed. He's dunzo. He does not get the screen time that Roach and Ramirez get. So this focuses primarily on our voiced protagonists. I'm going to get the easy one out of the way, and when I say easy, I should say controversial one. So this is going to come back to haunt me later in the video, but for now, I need to establish right here, right now, I have to lay down a truth for you all. You're not going to like what I'm going to have to say, but Ghost is the Boba Fett of Call of Duty. What do I mean by that? Allow me to explain. In Star Wars, the first 3 movies, that would be episodes 5 and 6. Boba Fett is this, he's this mysterious badass. He's got a helmet on, he looks cool, and all that. So, you're meant to like him purely for his, because he's a badass. Except that Boba Fett doesn't do anything in those movies. There's never a scene where Boba Fett's fist fighting Han Solo or shooting and killing a bunch of rebels or anything like that. He actually gets no kills in the screen time he's in those movies. He's actually got nothing. He shoots at Luke a couple times, and that's about it. And to top it all off, Boba Fett's killed by Luke with by getting his jetpack slashed by a lightsaber, and then he gets thrown into the vor pit. Um, so Boba Fett, his character literally is, I just look cool. He doesn't actually, and I know some Star Wars fan out there is going to be like reference book X or Y or this TV show or whatever. I don't care about any of that. I'm just going to lay that out right. I do not acknowledge anything Star Wars related after after Disney bought the franchise. I literally do not care, and I also do not care about most of the comic books and extra books and all that. I do not care. I strongly do not care about them. They do not, in my opinion, hold any water. So you can reference those all you want, as God slowly kills me for that heresy, but I do not care. So what does Boba Fett have to do with Ghost? Ghost looks badass, but he doesn't do anything in the story or plot that really makes him like this cool, awesome character. Ghost, for anyone who doesn't know, is voiced by the same guy who did Gaz in Call of Duty 4. And they did this because people really liked Gaz, and they wanted to bring Gaz back in a way, but they can't bring Gaz back because he's dead, okay? Anybody out there, you'll probably see some like conspiracy videos out there with some red yarn where they're trying to like prove that Gaz somehow survived. He didn't survive. He got shot in the fucking head with a Desert Eagle. Like, it's a big fucking bullet. His brain is... I would recommend watching Garen Thumb videos where he shoots at like ballistic dummies with like human skulls inside them with like simulated organs, and you'll understand why Gaz did not survive Call of Duty 4. Okay, he's dead. His brain was liquefied. There's nothing left for for them to resurrect. Ghost, he's Gaz in spirit only. Or voice only is what I should say. It's the same voice actor, but it's definitely a different character. And on top of that, and that's just about it. That's actually that's just his character, and he gets killed off. Like, he just gets shot by Shepard. No real big fight for him, nothing like that. No heroic death. He's betrayed, and then his corpse is burnt. Sad moment. 100% agree. But the point of the matter is that Ghost he's not a very like spectacular character. He's just a support. I know how to quantify Ghost. Another way to quantify Ghost, besides referring to him as the Boba Fett of Call of Duty, he is a load-bearing Krusty the Clown poster. If you don't get that reference, there's an episode of The Simpsons where they have I can't remember. I don't know the actual plot of the episode. All I know is Bart says that don't take down this poster. It's a load-bearing poster. Ghost is there to interact with Soap and sometimes Price and make you feel like Gaz is still there. But he's not Gaz. So, with that out of the way, once again, I need to preface that will come back to haunt me in some ways later in the video, but I do have reasons. I will explain that later in the video. Or should I contrast? I'll contrast these characters as they come up, actually, because I feel like it'll make things feel more organized. So I'm going to contrast MW2 Ghost with MW2 Ghost. So MW2 2022 Ghost is a big piece of shit. The new Ghost, everybody loves him for some reason, and I think it's because he does a couple of death stares, but honestly, he is just the biggest piece of shit. Um, he's a crappy character. Um, and he's got more character, admittedly, than he did in the original game, but he's a crappy character now. Uh, and this is going to be a reoccurring theme, in fact, as it goes on, but he's a crappy character. So, Ghost basically, how do I quantify Ghost? He is, he would make a good villain, and to top it all off, he looks like the Death Stranding villain. Ghost looks like it looks like Activision went to Hideo Kojima and asked him to redesign Ghost, and that's what he looks like. He just has this stupid skull mask. I don't know why they didn't just use the balaclava, the classic balaclava, because I imagine that would have like been easier for them to 3D model onto a character's face. But they decided, nah, man, we'll give him this stupid like skull faceplate, and then we're gonna marry him to the mask while we're at it. They make jokes about it. They keep talking about it, and that's like one of the first few problems I saw in this game when it came to characters and stuff like that. Is they talk way too much. They there's I'll have to go into this later, but there's just way too much talking and joking, and they reference Ghost's mask, and that completely disintegrates the effectiveness of his mask. In the original Modern Warfare 2, they didn't talk about it, and it's because it was just meant to look cool. It was set decoration. In this game, it's very important for Soap to keep referencing it, and everyone to keep talking about how creepy and weird it looks. And it just completely deflates it, because it's like you're in this like high stakes situation where Hassan has missiles and he wants to fucking blow up Americans with them, and everyone's joking like as if it's not a big deal. So Ghost's mask is not like the most talked about thing in the story. It's just a good example of some of this bad like dialogue that they work with, and that's not even necessarily his character's fault. It's just they married him to the mask. He refuses to take it off, or something like that. It's just really stupid. It's like, I doubt that the other Ghost never took the mask off. I can imagine that he took it off when he wasn't on mission, and he just wore it on missions because, I don't know, it makes decent camouflage, or it hides his identity from people who might be looking for him. Who knows? Who cares? Point is, it's this really stupid thing where they like make a big deal out of his mask, and it's just really stupid. It's not how normal human beings interact in a war scenario. Guys don't. I don't think guys walk up to each other and comment on their gear. I think in a real life high stakes situation, guys will get together and they'll be like, so yeah, there's this missile here. Bravo team goes here, and Alpha team goes here. Let's go get this done. I don't think they stop and talk about how, hey, this guy's got a really dumb mask. Let's talk about the dumb mask, son. I digress. His character's like a big piece of shit too, because he's got like, this is why he would make a good bad guy, is they kind of got almost a Spock thing going on with him, in that he doesn't value other people's lives outside of if it has some kind of logical purpose to saving it. Or at least that's the way they try to write his character. In the beginning of the game, a helicopter gets shot down because it's a video game and it's got a helicopter. It's going to get shot down. And in that helicopter was Alpha Team. And Soap wants to go save his teammates because Soap is a human being with a conscience. But Ghost is a soulless piece of shit, and he says, no, the mission comes first. We have to go get Hassan. And so he's like, actually, we'll clear the area, then we'll go get the team, which is kind of like a duh moment. But whatever. So they get there and they rescue one of the team members. He's like the only survivor. And then they go after Hassan. And then when they're going after Hassan, or when they go to try to get Hassan, it turns out he got away, quote unquote. And Ghost turns to Soap. He says, or Soap's like, so what? You're saying we shouldn't have saved Alpha Team? And Ghost's like, choices have consequences. Yeah, so this piece of shit was going to let his friends, his teammates, die in the field just because he wanted to capture one guy who probably wasn't even there to begin with. I don't think they make it clear whether or not Hassan was actually in location. I feel like it's implied that he might have not been there. So Ghost is basically has no regard for human life. He basically just cares about his mission. Later on in the game, he saves Soap, and then he says, I didn't save you to save you, or something like that. I did it because I need help out here. And it's like, yeah, that's okay. Okay, Spock. Soap would make a good villain because he's a piece of shit who doesn't care about other people's lives, and he's just a dickhead to everybody. Gives everyone death stares and shit like that. He's a villain, not a good person. It's more character than what the original Ghost was, but it's not a good character. I would honestly, if I was in this situation, I would fucking hate this guy's guts. If I was actually put in a situation where I had to work with a guy like this. So, the bottom line is that shitty character. The next one I'm going to compare and contrast is Soap. So, in the original game, Soap is not introduced as Soap. He's introduced as Captain McTavish, and basically it's actually kind of like a big reveal, because in the original COD 4, Soap doesn't have any voice lines or anything like that. Same scenario as I said earlier for Ramirez and Roach. He's meant to be a silent protagonist that the player can project themselves on. So Soap is introduced in Modern Warfare 2, but he's not like immediately said to be Soap. He's said to be Captain John McTavish. And then it's revealed later on that, it's Soap. And McTavish is basically, he's kind of like he's just like a younger Captain Price, essentially. He's just like a decent leader. That's all I can really say. He's just meant to be like some kind of decent leader, a cool guy you would probably like to work with. Kind of cocky. They kind of give him like this cocky thing in the beginning, where he's like, "Oh, you took the scenic route, eh? Let's go." It's like, okay, yeah. But all in all, he's meant to be just like a likable leader type, someone where it's like, yeah, I would work with this guy. In the new game, he's not bad. I don't think I ever disliked this Soap that much. I mean, he's too talkative. They try to like kind of make him like the guy who likes to talk a bunch and make crack jokes and shit. And in a way, it makes me like him a little bit, especially since he keeps bullying Ghost, and I like that he keeps bullying Ghost. Weird little thing, real quick. They fucking they made him a sergeant. He's a captain in the original games, original Modern Warfare 2, and then they made him a sergeant for some reason in the remake. Weird detail. Don't hate it, not complaining, just a weird detail. But, it kind of makes him a little bit more of a likable character in a way. Uh, I don't hate this soap. That's all I can really say. Is I don't hate him. uh, uh, the the next one will be Captain Price. I am, spoiler warning, planning on a COD 4 compare and contrast with Modern Warfare. So a Modern Warfare compare and contrast. So I might go maybe more in detail about Price in that game. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I will. So I'm going to go into detail here and in that other video, because these feel like sort of different characters in a way, but not entirely. There's a couple things about these characters that carry over, but essentially, so we'll start with the original Captain Price. So OG Captain Price is just straight up a badass. Like he is what every dad should be. he's just uh he's just kind of like, yeah, pure your orders, go get it done. And he's like always playing 3D chess when he's on the battlefield. Like, I used to make this joke that Big Boss and Sam Fisher would sneak into a base very quietly and get out very quietly. Captain Price will sneak into your base and plant C4 as he sneaks through your base and then blow it up on the way out. And that's basically what Price does, is he's just kind of like always thinking ahead, always like he could see things and he's like, you know what? Let's do this because this might help us later and stuff like that. He's a very critical thinker type of character. And that's kind of something that makes you like him, is that he's always thinking. He's not an idiot. He's smart. He plans ahead. He's at the same time in the Modern Warfare 2, he's also a little kooky. He's been locked in the gulag. He decides, I'm going to solve this war by detonating an EMP over the eastern seaboard of the United States. Now, in the game, the only consequences is the Russians lose a lot of helicopters and shit. In real life, in real life, there would be a lot of unnecessarily dead civilians and American soldiers. But that's okay. We're not worried about that. We don't care about that. That doesn't exist. What exists is Russians. And all we care about is that the Russian planes got crashed. And that's a good thing. So we won. So Price is like a big thinker, always one step ahead, a little bit kooky, but that's okay. He's got his reasoning, and in this Modern Warfare 2, he disobeys orders, but in a way, it kind of works out. And it makes sense because he's, again, kooky. He was locked in a gulag, so it makes sense that he would kind of, like, be not thinking in a way where it makes sense in the real world, but it's believable. And to contrast this now with the new Captain Price, MW2 2022 Captain Price. So I do not like the reboot Captain Price at all. There's nothing I like about the character. For starters, he does this annoying thing. Maybe this is a nitpick, but I can't stand it when people don't finish words. Like, I can't give a specific example. Oh yeah, I know. Like, instead of saying Roger, he says Raj. Like, the second syllable, you couldn't just say the second syllable? He does that a lot. I'm dying of mesothelioma. So Captain Price, he does that kind of shit a lot, and it bugs the crap out of me, because it's like, like he literally comes from the country that invented the English language, and for some reason he can't respect it. I just don't get it. It's a nitpick. I'm gonna move past that. It's just a nitpick. But he does this dumb thing I can't stand in the original Modern Warfare where I call it the George Clooney stare, and that is you tilt your head downwards, so you're not like looking straight forward. You're tilting your head downwards, but you're looking up at the person through your eyebrows a little bit, and that's the George Clooney stare. Is you don't have your head straight up looking at somebody. You're looking downward, and then he does that a lot, and that bugs the shit out of me. It's like this weird mannerism that I think the actor had, and I didn't. It bugs the crap out of me. On top of that, he's insubordinate. Now you could be like, oh, well, you said the other Captain Price is insubordinate. Yes, but he was also locked in a prison, so it makes sense that he's insubordinate. Original Captain Price, his brain's probably slightly fried. The new Captain Price is insubordinate, and he still works for the military. And it bugs the shit out of me because he also threatens a superior officer. And that's not how it works. When you're in the army, if your boss tells you to jump, you say how high. You don't turn to your boss and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do this. Go fuck yourself. And he does that, and he does that a bunch. And then to top it all off, he threatens his superior officer. In the original game, he threatens this colonel guy. He literally threatens this colonel guy in the original game, and I will re-talk about this point. But it's like, I will start shooting your men if they start hurting Farah's people. And it's like, so you're literally, as a British soldier, threatening to kill American soldiers? Like, you don't think for one moment that you're not going to start some kind of international incident? And he does it again with General Shepard. He threatens to kill General Shepard. Now, again, we have the benefit of CIA agent Laszlo, who knows that General Shepard's done the bad thing and has probably made sure everyone knew that General Shepard did a bad thing. I don't know yet. We haven't seen the sequel game yet. But the point is that Price has some kind of backing in this, but the problem is like, again, he's threatening a superior officer with death, and that's not how the justice system works. Price, you arrest Shepard, you court-martial him, and then you put him in jail, or whatever they do. Probably dishonorably discharged for what Shepard did, because what Shepard did was completely fucking retarded. But that's okay, because apparently modern day writing relies on everybody being stupid. Another compare and contrast, and I'm gonna re-go over this one in the Modern Warfare compare and contrast, but in this video is Gaz. I didn't care that much for... So, controversial hot take. I feel like Infinity Ward made a black character, and they didn't have faith that the audience would like this black character, so they gave him Gaz's name. And that's what I think happened. I think that they didn't have faith that people would like Gaz, or this... whoever the hell... whatever Gaz was supposed to be originally. I feel like he was meant to be a different character, and then they said, I don't think people will like this guy. Let's give him another character's name, and that'll make him like him. That's my controversial hot take. I skipped over OG COD 4 Gaz, but that's because I feel like I should focus more on him in a later video. But in this video, the simple take is I feel like that's what happened with his character. and I feel like him as a character, I don't hate him, but I don't care for him either. He's just kind of like, he's like an Avenger. In fact, all these characters are like Avengers almost in the new Modern Warfare 2 game. They all talk too much. I'll cut in like an example of what I'm talking about right here.
You there yet, Sergeant?
Bloody hell, Laswell. It's a long way.
We didn't all run cross-country in college, Kate.
I still run, John. Just gotta stop smoking.
You smoke, Laswell.
I do. My wife hates it. Trying to quit. Jonesing big time.
Can I interest you in a cigar, perhaps?
No, thanks, John.
So, these characters are in a high state. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. I'm sorry if this is a lot of repeating, but they're in a high stakes situation here. A terrorist has his hands on very powerful missiles that can kill a lot of people. And these characters, our main characters, don't feel like they're taking the situation seriously. That's, so, the Marvel's Avengers movies, I'm not that big of a fan of most of them. I don't hate the movies, but I just don't, they don't jive with me, and a big reason why is the writing. I don't like the writing because, again, these are high-stakes situations, and the characters don't take it that seriously. There's a meme of, and I wish I could find it, but it says, you're on POV, you're trapped under a pile of rubble with a piece of rebar sticking through your torso, when you can hear one of the Avengers above you joking about how they hate Mondays. It's like this. It feels like this is like lack of regard of what the situation means. If we can very quickly contrast it with one of my favorite levels in Modern Warfare 2 called Of Their Own Accord or Second Son.
Overlord, this is Hunter 2-1 actual. Request an airstrike. Over.
Negative 2-1 actual. All available air units are currently tasked with multiple Casevacs along the Potomac. Proceed west to the target building and provide support. Out.
Everyone, move on. Get out of the kill zone. We gotta buy some time for those Casevac birds. Overlord, 2-1 actual. This is the U.S. with no adjacent support. Expect the victim of BCT-1 to haul an ass past us.
Roger. Brigade Combat Team 1 has already peeled off an LAV to provide suppression.
So real quick, I double checked some of my footage just now, and it turns out, and I didn't realize it, but they cut out the music when you record the gameplay. And the only thing I can think of is they block the music while you're recording, so it protects you from copyright infringement. Just really weird, and it sucks because the music of Modern Warfare 2 is classic, and it's very important for the mood, setting the mood in the game. But regardless, I digress. I double checked the footage because I wanted to check the names of the levels, and I will reiterate, it's Of Their Own Accord and Second Son, and I'm going to consider those to be kind of one level because in a way they are, the way they leave each other off and stuff. So in their of their own accord, it's you're in Washington D.C. and all that, and they don't not just anywhere in Washington D.C. You're in Capitol Hill. You're at the mall, the Washington Mall, where all the monuments are, and all these different very historic and sacred places to America are all in this big area. And you don't know that at first, but you come out of the basement, and it's a big reveal. It's like, oh my God, there's the Washington Monument, and then you look over and you can see the Lincoln Memorial, and you can see all these different places, and you can see the Capitol building just over the horizon. And characters in this scene, they're not cracking jokes, they're not going, they're not complaining about their boots being wet or something shit like some stupid shit like that. They're in the moment. These characters, none of them, most of them nameless characters, are in the moment. This is like a terrible, horrible place to be. Your country is literally losing to the Russians, and you're hopelessly outmatched and it doesn't seem like there's any hope. And these characters are still fighting for the country they believe in, though. And they're trying their hardest to evacuate these civilians. And they're in the moment, and they're not cracking stupid fucking jokes or anything like that. And when they talk about something that's not exactly pertaining to the mission, it still pertains to in the moment. There's this part where Corporal Dunn's like, and they don't, and that's it. They just, those couple of lines, and that's it. And it's just enough for you, the player, to be like, oh man, yeah, that's right. This is the Capitol building. This sucks. This situation sucks. So, it's not something that's meant to be taken lightly. This is a moment that's meant to bring you down emotionally. It's meant to make you feel bad. And to contrast this with Modern Warfare 2, 2022, where you're in this, like, town in Mexico, and Shadow Company is raiding. They're going house to house. They're killing civilians and everyone in their path, looking for Hassan. And the icing on the cake for this horrible situation where innocent people are dying and getting killed by scumbags, you have your heroes, Soap and Ghost, cracking jokes about his mask over the radio.
I'm in the coffee shop.
Get us a tea.
Fucking Brits. You're gonna owe me for this.
Why?
We're fixing each other's problems.
What's my problem?
Mask. Take it off.
Show my face.
Yes, sir.
Negative.
Are you ugly?
Quite the opposite.
I doubt that.
It doesn't feel like your heroes care about their jobs when they are cracking jokes about a terrible, horrible situation happening around them. I get it. It's fun in a superhero movie, and that's mostly acceptable. Because you can ignore it. In a superhero movie, you're not, when Superman catches that building with his bare hands and he fucking sets it down gently, everyone survives in your head. Realistically, yeah, no, somebody would have fallen out the window and died, but that's not what superheroes are. Superheroes are optimism incarnate. And that's not what Modern Warfare, that's not what Call of Duty is. Call of Duty is war. It is probably the most misunderstood series by literally everyone, including the people who make these games. When these games first came out, these were like the Band of Brother video games, in a way. These were not meant to glorify war. They were meant to shine a spotlight on war, particularly World War II. These were like playable documentaries, in a way. These were meant to like shine a light on that part of humanity that we mostly don't like to think about. Later on, they wanted to show more modern stuff. And from there, it snowballed into what it is now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 doesn't seem to understand what exactly is happening in its own plot. It seemed to have, at some point, forgot that The plot literally is, a lot of people are about to die. You need to stop that from happening. And it's kind of why a lot of the heroes in MW2 2022, they don't feel like heroes. They just feel like nothing. They feel like nothing. Yeah, they get the job done and they save the world. But I don't feel like I respect the heroes after all is said and done. I just feel like I just watched a bunch of bumbling idiots accidentally solve all the problems. Like, if you think about this plot for a second, this whole plot started because Shepard wanted to give missiles to some supposed good guys, and then they got stolen from him. And then the plot gets worse, and they get to the point where 2 of these missiles almost do get launched at populated areas, and they're only stopped within inches, and it doesn't feel like because that was a natural progression. It feels like because everyone was stupid. What do I mean by this? Well, this plot would have been solved quicker, a bunch of this stuff would have been solved quicker if certain people would have just asked more questions. Certain people being Agent Laszlo, and this is basically my transition into talking about Agent Laszlo. She's introduced in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. And she's basically the CIA lady who's Captain Price's friend. And that's all I can really tell you about her character, because she's not really... There's not much there to tear into. Now, in the beginning of the game, when you're doing the raid on Hassan's compound and you're trying to capture him, and then everyone discovers that Hassan has an American missile, Shepard sends everyone but Laszlo out of the room, and he makes it like a private conversation, and Laszlo's like, give me a couple of minutes, we can figure out where these missiles came from, blah, 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 blah. And Shepard's like, no, I don't care where it came from. I just want to get rid of it. We're going to blow it up. And Laszlo doesn't go, why do we not care where this came from? We should care. Why do we not care that somebody... Like, think about this. Laszlo's first thoughts are, hold up. You don't want to figure out why Hassan has American missiles? You don't want to figure out who was selling them to him, or who, for that matter, who's stealing them from us? You don't want to figure that out, because that's when your boat has a leak in it, what do you do to stop the leak? Do you just shovel the water out and not plug the leak, or do you plug the leak then shovel the water out? Missiles going missing. That seems like a pretty big fucking leak. And Laszlo doesn't once say, hey, you know what, that sounds weird, I'll look into it without Shepard. She doesn't go, hey, somebody from... Hey, she doesn't go to her boss and say, you need to contact somebody from inventory and see if like 3 of our missiles are missing. Because if they're missing, we need to know who took them out, when they took them out. She doesn't do any of this. She just blindly listens to Shepard and lets the plot progress in the way it does. She doesn't once stop and go, let's do a little bit of investigating work, because that's kind of what CIA agents are. Is they're basically detectives in a way. They're meant to figure things out, and Laszlo doesn't do that. Instead, she's barking orders at soldiers, something that's Shepard's job to do. And she makes no real effort to figure out where did these missiles come from in the first place. I mean, we know where they came from, America, but who gave them to Hassan. That seems like an important detail. And then, when they do find out it was Shepard, there's like no effort, it feels like, to apprehend Shepard and make sure that he doesn't let those missiles... he doesn't get away with committing a crime? Like, he gets away. He doesn't get captured at the end of the game. He gets away. Like, did Laszlo not, like, call up her CIA people? Like, internal affairs or anything? And, like, be like, hey, so, Shepard stole some of our missiles and tried to give them to other people. And as a result, they got stolen from him. And now they're about... she never once... You see where how this whole plot falls apart? When you realize that if Laszlo did her job, Shepard would have been arrested, and it probably would have been quicker and easier for them to find Hassan without a mercenary company literally trying to kill an entire town of innocent people. An entire town of innocent Mexicans gets killed because Laszlo didn't do her job. We're not going to discuss that, though, guys. We're not going to talk about how literally Laszlo did not do her job, and because of it, a bunch of innocent people got murdered by a mercenary company. So, everyone's an idiot. Did I miss any heroes in this game? I'll leave Nikolai and Farah for the Modern Warfare 2019 game, because those guys are not in this game enough to even, like, they weren't even in there enough to bear mention, but I had to anyways. So, bottom line here is this. The plot doesn't progress. Our heroes are stupid. They're not very good characters in the new one. And to top it all off, the plot only progresses because the heroes are stupid idiots. Captain Price is an insubordinate caveman. Laszlo's an idiot. Gaz is a non-character for the most part. He's not unlikable, but he's also not like a super likable character. He's like a Kmart Avenger, basically. Ghost is a fucking Vulcan. An unlikable Vulcan at that. And Soap, he's okay. Not bad. Oh, I almost forgot Alejandro. In all of this, I almost forgot Alejandro. Alejandro, he's like literally the Giga Chad meme. Like, Alejandro is literally just the Giga Chad. I think he's likable. I like him. He's charismatic. And he seems to care about the job. He's the only one who gets pissed off that the bad guys are bad guys. He seems like to be the only one who gets pissed off at the bad guys, and that kind of, to me, like makes me like him. So, re-summarize. Ghost is Boba Fett. Soap's okay. Gaz is an Avenger. Price is a insubordinate idiot. Laszlo is an idiot. And Alejandro, he's the Giga Chad. He's a Giga Chad. Alejandro's a likable Giga Chad. He's a solid 8 out of 10 character. I like him enough to say that. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's all I have to say. It's about the heroes and essentially plot progression in this game. It's not very good. The next video, I'm gonna go into more plot progression, but I also think I'm gonna talk about the themes, and I think that might be a good way to summarize. Actually, better idea. I'm going to talk about level design, and I'm going to talk about the themes of both games. And I think that's where I'm going to cap off the series. For now. Like I said, I'll come back from a Modern Warfare 2019 compare and contrast, but for now, we're gonna end this. We're gonna end this video, and then I'll have one more video for MW2 2022. So, take care.